Hi everybody, welcome to Calling All Kids. I have my usual guests here today, and they've decided they would like to introduce themselves again today as they did last time. So we'll start with my buddy, who's this?
Tyler.
And then we have?
Brittany.
And who's sitting next to you, Brittany?
Trevor.
What's your name? Say it, sweetie, nice and loud.
Trevor.
Good job. And then who's on the end there?
Trevor. Laura.
Laura got a little confused there. And we also have another guest today. Brittany has got some thing on her, let's see, she's got a little keychain. And this is called a what? What is this?
Tamagotchi.
It's called a what?
Tamagotchi.
And what is a Tamagotchi?
It's like sort of like a video pet, but it beeps all the time.
It beeps all the time? Is it? Let me see it. I think these things are like, it's like a real baby, like it beeps. When it beeps, that's like crying and it needs something. Is that what it is, sweetie? Okay, just show your brother. Show your brother.
Trevor, you're seeing it from right here.
No fights. Let me see, Britt. Let me see. Let me see. You know what? We will talk about this pet at the end of the show. In the meantime, I'm going to give it back to Brittany. She's going to show it to Trevor. Okay, Trevor, have a seat, sweetie. Just let him see it, okay? Thank you. Now, what season is coming, boys and girls? What season is coming? Nope, not summer is coming, but what's going to be here first? Raise your hand if you know. Brittany, you were saying it. Spring. And in the spring, things start to pop out of the ground. And what are those things called?
Flowers.
Flowers. As you can see, we have more of a, plant thing going here on the set, which I love because I love plants and flowers. Now, I think I brought this last time, but I'm going to show it to you again anyways. Can anybody guess what this is?
A flower. A bulb. A bulb.
Well, you're both right. It is a bulb that will turn into a flower when you plant it. You've got to plant it way in the dirt, and then it's going to grow. What does it look like, though? I was thinking to myself, this really looks like something we eat that you buy in the store. What does that kind of look like?
Potato.
Tyler thinks a potato. Laura?
Onion.
Laura thinks an onion, and I think it looks like an onion, too. Now, this is my problem. This really looks like it's in bad shape. I mean, I was supposed to refrigerate it for a couple of months, which is what I did, and it's not looking too healthy. But we're going to hope, I'm going to plant it, in a couple weeks, and we're going to hope it's going to grow. Now, does anybody know what this is going to grow into?
Yeah.
A flower, but does anybody know what type of flower it's going to
Yeah.
grow into? What do you think, Trev?
A big one.
A big one. That's that's good. Yep, it's going to get a lot bigger than this. But does anybody know what it's going to bloom into? No? Well, I'll tell you. It's going to grow into one of these. Now, this is fake. It is not real, but it's kind of pretty. And I have a ton of these in my apartment. And Tyler, raise your hand. What do you think this is, sweetie? What do you think it is, Tyler? Tyler thinks it's a lilac for a very good reason. Number one, because it looks like a lilac. But number two, because he remembers after numerous shows that lilacs are my indeed favorite flower in the whole world. What do you think this is, Laura? Do you know? What do you think, Brittany? Not sure? What do you think, Trevi?
A flower.
A flower. Good job. Well, it looks like a lilac, but it's not supposed to be. It's called a hyacinth. Hyacinth. Kind of hard to pronounce. And a hyacinth looks very, very much like a lilac, and it also smells very much like a lilac, but it's not quite the same thing. But that is what that bulb will grow into, hopefully. Well, the bulb doesn't smell that good, but the flower, when it blooms, smells awesome. It smells really good. You kind of knew? Well, all right. Well, speaking of spring, our first book is called Three Friends Find Spring. And what season does it look like? Remember, don't blurt it out. Remember, we raise our hands. Trevi, you know what, sweetie? Don't swing that around because it might go flying and you might hit somebody. What season do you think this is, Laura?
Winter.
And why do you think it's winter?
Because there's snow all over.
Because there's snow all falling and it's all on the ground and it's on the house. And, well, so they're praying for the warm weather. They're praying for spring. So I am too. And we're having a chilly day out there today, folks, but Wednesday it is supposed to be in the 70s. I cannot wait. Let's find out what happens in this story. It was winter in the forest. Rabbit shivered as he got off his sled and knocked on Duck's door. He turned up the collar on his overcoat as he waited. Duck looked through the window to see who was there. "What do you want on a day like this?" he called. "I came for a visit," said Rabbit. "It is too cold for a visit," said Duck. "If I open the door, all the cold air will come in." "Duck, I'm freezing out here. Please open the door." Duck took the rug away from his door. He unlocked the inside door, and then he unlocked the storm door. I know it's hard for some of you to see, so I'll show you the pictures after, okay? So poor Duck is in his house, and he is nice and warm, and that is where he wants to stay. He doesn't even want to open the door for cold air to get in. I'm like that, too. I am always cold in the winter. Always cold. "Shake off that snow, Rabbit, and where are your galoshes?" "Don't you wear galoshes? You will get snow all over my floor." Rabbit took off his shoes and his overcoat. Then he brushed the snow off his ears and whiskers. "Stand right there, Rabbit," said Duck. "I will get the broom and sweep off your tail. You can't sit on my sofa with snow on your tail." Duck swept off Rabbit's tail and hung up his coat. Then he put Rabbit's shoes on a newspaper to dry in front of the fire. "Rabbit, winter is no time for a visit," grumbled Duck. "As a matter of fact, winter is not good for anything. I slip on the ice, my garden and pond are frozen, and I can't do my spring cleaning or pick gooseberries." Rabbit sat on the edge of a chair and looked thoughtful. "Winter is white," he said hopefully. "Why, look at the icicles shine in the sun." "Winter is wet," said Duck. "The snow dirties my floor and the icicles drop against my clean windows. I won't be myself until spring." Now, raise your hand if you like winter better than the spring. Laura, why do you like winter better than the spring?
Because you can sled and sometimes I like to make a snowman.
So you like being out in the snow. You enjoy the snow. You like to go sledding.
I like to drink hot cocoa.
And you like to drink hot cocoa. That's a fun thing to do in the wintertime. I agree. Now raise your hand if you like spring better than the winter.
I like them both the same.
You like them both the same. Tyler, you like the spring better than the winter. Why do you like the spring better?
Warmer.
Because it's warmer. You like the warm air too. What about you, Britt? What do you like better, sweetie? You're not sure? Well, I like the spring, prefer the summer. 90 degrees is about where I like it. But let's find out what happens. "Let's play tic-tac-toe," said Rabbit. "Maybe that will cheer you up." "Nothing will cheer me up," said Duck. "Winter is awful." "You're in no mood for a visit," said Rabbit. "I think I should leave." Rabbit went to the fireplace, picked up his shoes, and put them on. "You will get pneumonia if you wear those wet shoes." "I hope not," said Rabbit. And he put on his overcoat and said goodbye. Duck locked his doors and replaced the rug. "Winter," he grumbled. "When will it end?" On the way home, Rabbit passed Squirrel's house. And what kind of house does Squirrel live in? Raise your hand. Don't blurt it out. What kind of house does it appear that Squirrel lives in? Tyler.
A tree.
A tree house. He lives in a house made out of a tree. What do you think, Laura?
A house that's really big and it has a door for it. And it's made out of a tree.
And you think it's made out of a tree, too. "Hello there," called Squirrel. "Would you like a cup of tea?" "I just got back from skating." "That would be nice," said Rabbit. "I just stopped by to see Duck. Duck hates winter, you know. He says spring will never come." Well, do you guys think spring will ever come? It will. It definitely will. Girls. "Dear me," said Squirrel as he poured 2 cups of tea. "It is only February. Spring is a long way off." "I hate to see Duck so miserable," said Rabbit. "We could try to cheer him up," said Squirrel. "Spring is the only thing that could cheer Duck up," said Rabbit. "So what do you think they can do to cheer Duck up? He's all depressed because of the winter." Girls. He's all depressed because of the winter. What do you think they can do to cheer him up? What would cheer you up, Tyler, in the middle of winter? What would cheer you up?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure? Well, let's find out what these guys are going to do. What would cheer you up, Laura?
Eating ice cream.
Eating ice cream. Even in the winter, eating ice cream would cheer her up. Well, let's find out what they do to help cheer their friend up. "Squirrel, cut 2 pieces of cake and put them on the plates." "Maybe," said Squirrel, "we could bring spring to Duck." Well, if spring's not going to be on outside, maybe they can bring spring to him inside. "Good idea," said Rabbit, snapping his paw. Then he looked puzzled. "How do we do that?" "Leave it to me," said Squirrel. "I have an idea. Meet me at Duck's house Monday morning at 6 o'clock and bring some baskets. Squirrel and Rabbit finished their tea and cake, and Rabbit left for home. Now, they're going to bring Duck some baskets. What holiday, we just had it, what holiday falls in the springtime and you see baskets? It's a holiday, baskets. They're going to bring in baskets. What holiday can you think of that has baskets and also usually falls in the spring? Laura?
Easter.
What did you think, Tyler?
Easter.
You think Easter too? Well, I think you're right. Let's find out. On Monday morning, Rabbit put on his skis and skied to Duck's house. "Hello there," called Squirrel. "Hello," said Rabbit. "I have 3 baskets." "Good," said Squirrel. She took off her snowshoes and opened a large box. She reached in, took out some straw, and put some in each basket. Then she carefully took out 12 brightly colored eggs and put 4 in each basket. Then she tied a large bow on each one. "Easter baskets," said Rabbit, "but Easter is a long way off." "We will put them in Duck's window," said Squirrel, "and when he looks out, he will feel like spring." "I doubt it," said Rabbit. "Wait and see," said Squirrel. The 2 friends put the Easter baskets in front of Duck's window and went back to Squirrel's house for tea. "Now," said Squirrel, "we wait." What else do those baskets have on them? They have hay inside and they have eggs inside. And what do they have on the top of them? What's on the top of the basket? Laura, a bow. What do you see, Ty? Do you see bows on the Easter baskets? And there are 2 baskets, and is there a box? Looks like there's a box, huh? They must have ran out of Easter baskets. So they're going to bring some Easter baskets to Duck's house, and hopefully this will cheer him up and make him think that it's springtime, and he'll be all happy. Well, let's find out and see what happens. As they were drinking their tea, the phone rang. It was Duck. "Hello, Squirrel. I just called to ask if you would be going to the store today. I am all out of lettuce." If you need to go get your little person, you can do that, Brittany. "Duck," said Squirrel, "didn't you notice anything different this morning?" "Why, yes," said Duck. "Someone left Easter baskets in my window, and I said to myself, now who would be so crazy as to bring me Easter baskets in the winter? Easter is a long way off, you know." Squirrel was embarrassed. "Why, Rabbit and I brought the basket," said Squirrel quietly. "Well," said Duck, "thank you very much. That was very nice indeed. But don't you know that Easter is in the spring, you guys? It's the middle of winter. Are you going out of your mind? Are you going to the store today?" Squirrel thought for a moment. "Well, I don't think so. Not today. You should go yourself. It would be good for you to get out and get some fresh air. Fresh air is good for you, you know." "You're a fine friend," said Duck, "but I suppose I will have to bundle up and go myself. I need lettuce and sugar and flour. Oh, this rotten winter, when will it end? Thanks for the basket, Squirrel." Duck hung up the phone. "Rabbit," said Squirrel, "run home and put on your old clothes. Then meet me at Duck's house right away. I have another idea." "I don't know about your ideas," said Rabbit doubtfully. "Hurry," said Squirrel. "We have to work while Duck is out shopping." So what do you think could possibly be their next idea? You guys both have ideas. What do you think, Laura?
I think they're going to outside make all sorts of paper flowers and stuff, and then I think inside they're going to put flowers too, so the whole house is spring.
So Laura thinks they're going to put flowers everywhere, outside and inside, and they're going to be fake, and they're going to make him think springtime. Tyler, what do you think?
They're going to put spring stuff inside.
Do you think they're going to put all sorts of spring stuff inside? Maybe like a big paper sun, and yeah, good idea. What about you, Britt? What do you think, sweetie? You're not sure? Well, let's find out. What do you think, Trevi?
I think they're going to paint in there. Look.
Good job. I turned the picture a little bit too quickly, but that's a very good guess, Trevor. When Rabbit and Squirrel met at Duck's house, Squirrel was carrying a bucket of paint and 2 paintbrushes. "What are those for?" asked Rabbit. "We are going to paint Duck's kitchen yellow," said Squirrel. "It will cheer him up and seem like spring. Now climb up the ladder. There's no time to lose." And you have something very neat that's yellow. What is it? Your new what? Your new house is yellow. Well, it's light yellow. It's not bright like that. It's cream. Pardon me. When they finished painting, they left through the back door. "Now," said Squirrel, "let's go to my house and wait for Duck to feel spring." Squirrel and Rabbit were busy washing yellow paint off their paws when the phone rang. "That is Duck telling us how cheerful he feels," said Rabbit. Squirrel answered the phone eagerly. Now, raise your hand if you think that Duck is happy about his yellow kitchen. And raise both hands if you think Duck is unhappy about his yellow kitchen. So one hand if you think Duck's happy, two hands if you think he's unhappy. Brittany thinks he's unhappy. Laura thinks he's unhappy. Trevor thinks he's unhappy. And Tyler thinks he's going to be happy. Let's find out. Squirrel, said Duck, someone has painted my kitchen. Duck sneezed. Achoo! Rabbit and I painted it. Don't you feel cheerful? Doesn't it feel like spring? Duck sneezed again. Achoo! Do you have a cold, Duck? Squirrel, thanks a lot, but I'm allergic to paint. It seems, achoo! It makes me sneeze and cough, and yellow makes me sad. In fact, I hate yellow. Oh, well.
His beak is yellow.
But yellow is a cheerful color, said Squirrel. Everyone knows that. Really? It always reminds me of the dandelions in my garden. And I don't like dandelions. Squirrel's shoulders slumped. Well, I'm sorry, she said sadly. Never mind. It was a nice thought. Thank you both, Squirrel. Squirrel hung up the phone. Duck is allergic to paint. Figures. He's allergic to paint, she said. And yellow reminds him of dandelions. But don't worry, I have another idea. Now, who knows what a dandelion is? Do you guys think they're pretty? They're kind of pretty.
Yeah.
They're kind of a weed. But
They're kind of like sunflowers, but they're smaller.
That's a very good comparison.
Sometimes they make you sneeze.
And sometimes they make you sneeze because you have allergies.
No.
Your ideas don't seem to work too well, said Rabbit. This one will, though. Meet me at Duck's house on Thursday evening after dark. Bring a shovel and some of your friends. I have had enough, said Rabbit. I'm going home and I'm going to sleep. Don't you want to cheer Duck up, said Squirrel. You said we must try and make him feel better. All right, said Squirrel, but this is the last time. Okay, let's have some more guesses. What do you think they're going to do now? What do you think their attempt will be this time, Laura?
I think they're going to put all the flowers he likes and not allergic to in his house.
Okay.
And they're going to put seeds right on his house.
So she thinks that they're going to take all sorts of flowers that he's not allergic to and put them inside the house and then plant seeds for real flowers outside the house so when spring really does come, the flowers will bloom. What do you think, Ty? Any ideas? What do you think, Britt? You're not sure? Well, let's find out. On Thursday evening, Rabbit went to Duck's house. Chipmunk and Beaver went with him. Squirrel was there with two of her cousins. Now, said Squirrel, we will shovel all the snow from Duck's yard. Then I will tell you what to do next. There is a lot of snow here, said Rabbit. There is no time to waste then, said Squirrel as she picked up her shovel. They shoveled and shoveled, and they took load after load of snow to the woods. The snow is heavy, grumbled Chipmunk. My tail is frozen, cried Rabbit. At midnight, Squirrel took the empty wheelbarrow and went behind Duck's house. When she returned, the wheelbarrow was filled with bags marked confetti. What is confetti? Does anybody know what the word confetti is? Tyler.
It's like little plastic things and could be stars.
Right. It's like little pieces of like paper. And they could be in the shapes of stars or hearts.
And you can put plastic in it.
Or you can put plastic over them. Yeah. We're going to sprinkle this green confetti on the ground, said Squirrel. When Duck looks out in the morning, he will see spring. What a dumb idea, said Rabbit. I knew I should not have listened to you. Wait and see, said Squirrel. By sunrise, everything was green, even Beaver's tail and Rabbit's whiskers. When they had finished, they took their shovels and went home. They went to bed and slept soundly all day long. Now, raise your hand if you think that Duck is going to be happy with this new idea. Raise one hand. And raise two hands if you think Duck is going to be unhappy about this new thing that they're doing. Tyler, you think Duck's going to be happy? And Brittany thinks happy, and Trevor thinks happy, and Laura thinks happy. Everybody thinks that Duck will probably enjoy this very
What about
much.
you?
I really don't know. I would have to say that I agree. He'd probably be happy. At supper time, Rabbit woke up and stretched his legs. Oh my, I can't wait until Duck looks out his window. He rubbed his paws together, thinking about how happy Duck would be. Just then the phone rang. Rabbit, said Duck, have you looked outside? Why, I can't believe my eyes. Isn't it wonderful, said Rabbit. Wonderful, shouted Duck. What is so wonderful about a drift 2 ducks high outside my door? Duck, look again, I mean. I am looking, Rabbit. It has been snowing all day. My yard is white all the way to the top of my lilac bush. Rabbit looked out of his window. He put a paw over his mouth. Oh, dear. I have to go and build a warm fire, Rabbit. When will winter end? Rabbit hung up the phone and called Squirrel. Now, what do you think happened? What do you think? How come he has this big drift? Do you know what a drift is? It's like when the snow all blows. It makes this huge pile. It makes a pile that's awesome for sledding, but it just covered his whole door. Laura.
I had a drift once that was over my my railing of my steps on my porch.
Are you serious? Well, you
And
guys.
I was as tall as that.
Really? Well, you guys are too young. But when I was little, we had what was called the blizzard of '78, and that happened in 1978. And I was 8 years old, and the snow was so high that my dad had shoveled a walkway to the front house. And believe it or not, I was shorter than the snow piles. They were that high. It was like walking in a tunnel. It was unbelievable. It was the biggest snowstorm we've had in a very long time. Squirrel, he said, it has been snowing while we have been sleeping, and my back is sore, all for nothing. Duck's yard is white again. Squirrel looked out the door of her oak tree. Dear me, you are right. My ideas were not good ones, she sniffed. She wiped her right eyes with her handkerchief. I guess we can't bring spring to Duck, said Rabbit. I guess not, sniffed Squirrel. But perhaps we could show Duck how much fun winter can be, said Rabbit. Winter will never be fun for Duck, said Squirrel. That's because he does not know how to enjoy it, said Rabbit. Let's take him skating next week. I don't know, said Squirrel. Meet me at Duck's house on Saturday morning, said Rabbit, and bring me 2 pairs of skates. Now, what do you think they're going to do? Do you think they're actually going to take him skating, or do you think they're going to try to make it seem like springtime again?
Skating.
Tyler thinks skating. Brittany thinks skating. Laura skating.
I think you're going to do that thing again.
And Trevor thinks they're going to try one more time to make spring come to Duck's house. Let's find out.
I think they're going to do skating.
Now you think they're going to do skating? I think you're right, Trevi. On Saturday morning, Rabbit and Squirrel knocked on Duck's door. Duck, we have come to help you enjoy winter, said Rabbit. Let us in. Duck took the rug away from the door and unlocked the inside door and then unlocked the storm door. We want you to go skating with us, said Squirrel. Oh, no, said Duck. It is too cold, and besides, I have no skates. You hate winter because you have not tried to enjoy it, said Rabbit. Look, we brought you a pair of skates and some warm clothes. Rabbit held up a striped muffler and earmuffs. Sit down, Duck. We will bundle you up. I don't know, said Duck. You'll have a good time, said Squirrel. Squirrel and Rabbit put warm clothes on Duck. They tied the muffler around his neck 3 times and put the earmuffs on his head. I don't know, said Duck in a muffled voice. Then the 3 friends walked toward the pond. Rabbit whistled a winter tune and Squirrel did a winter dance. Here we are, said Rabbit. Sit down, Duck, and we'll put your skates on. I don't know about this, said Duck. Rabbit and Squirrel strapped on Duck's skates. Now we are ready, said Rabbit. The 3 friends skated off. Now, Duck has to be really, really bundled up because he's very cold. He's colder than the normal other animals, and the other animals have fur on them, and he doesn't. Now, this is similar to what I look like when I go out in the snow because, as I stated, I'm very freezing. You can't even see anything on me except for my eyeballs. I cover myself up completely. Isn't winter fun? Shouted Squirrel. Watch me skate on 1 foot, shouted Rabbit. Oh no, something very scary looks like it happened. Raise your hand if you can see. Trevi.
They fall into the water.
They fell into the water. That's a very scary thing, isn't it? We always make sure that the ice is completely frozen before we go on it, right? But Duck probably knows how to do what?
Swim.
Swim. Duck watched Rabbit but kept on skating. Duck, Duck, called Squirrel. Come back. The ice is thin out there. Before Duck could turn around, the ice gave way and Duck fell into the pond. He splashed and spluttered as Rabbit and Squirrel got a stick to pull him out. Grab it, Duck, they called. Duck held on to the stick and Rabbit and Squirrel pulled him out of the water. I couldn't swim with the skates on, he said. And all of these heavy clothes. Brr, I'm freezing, Rabbit. I will get pneumonia. Rabbit and Squirrel hurried home with Duck. They wrapped him in a big blanket and made him cocoa to drink while he soaked his feet in hot water in front of a warm fire. I told you I hate winter, he shivered. Go home and leave me alone. The 2 friends said goodbye and walked away sadly. Duck may be right, said Rabbit. Winter is cold and long. I know it is, said Squirrel. Why be cheerful? Let's just go home and try to keep warm. Snow gets dirty and the icicles drip on my doorstep, and Duck could have drowned. I'm tired of skiing and I feel like I'm coming down with the cold, said Rabbit. I won't be myself until spring. So, what do you think Duck's thoughts are now? Do you think that, remember to raise your hand, do you think that he likes winter more now that he's had this skating experience, or do you think that he probably doesn't like winter more now? Laura? Doesn't like winter. What do you think, Brittany? What do you think, Tyler? What do you think, Trevor? How come? Why doesn't he like it? Brittany? Because when he was skating, he fell on thin ice. What do you think, Trevi?
He fell into the ice.
He fell into the ice, and he was very cold. I tell you, I can't stand the cold. In fact, I still, it is springtime, have the heat on to 80 degrees in my...
And I think that he doesn't like winter, because when he went skating on the thin ice, I think he twisted his ankle.
Laura also thinks not only did he fall in and freeze his, little buns off, but he twisted his ankle when he fell. The next morning, Rabbit got out of bed and blew his nose. Then he put some water on to boil for peppermint tea. Just then the telephone rang. Sweetie, can you just sit back a little bit because Laura can't see? Thank you. Hello, Rabbit, said Duck. How are you today? Well, I'm not myself, Duck. You are right. Winter is too long. I won't be myself until spring. Now, Rabbit, said Duck, that is no way to feel. I am having a party tomorrow. Can you and Squirrel be here at 2 o'clock? I don't know, Duck. It is really too cold to go out. Why would you have a party in winter anyways? Come and see, Rabbit. Be here by 2 o'clock. We'll try, yawned Rabbit and hung up the phone. Rabbit called Squirrel and told her about the party. Then he crawled back in bed and slept. What a miserable winter, he said. So what has happened here? When the story started, Squirrel and Rabbit were the ones who were trying to make the best of the winter, and they were the ones that liked the winter, and Duck didn't. Now what's happening now?
They don't like winter.
Now it's switched, right, Britt? They've gotten sick of the winter, and Duck is liking it. What do you think Duck has up his sleeve? He says, meet me at my house tomorrow, I'm having a party. What kind of party do you think he's having? Can you think? Laura?
Sledding party.
A sledding party. Well, let's see. The next afternoon, Rabbit put on his warmest overcoat. He put 2 handkerchiefs and a box of cough drops in the pocket. He met Squirrel at 3 Pines. Squirrel smelled like menthol and carried a hot water bottle under her arm. My, she sniffed, I hope the party doesn't last long. Winter is no time for a party. They're freezing their buns off, and they just want to go home and be warm again. And they're thinking, why is Duck having this party? I don't understand. Soon they came to Duck's house. There was a sign on the door saying, party, 2 o'clock. Clean curtains hung at Duck's window, and balloons hung all over the door. I wonder if we have the right house, said Rabbit. As Duck opened his door, Rabbit and Squirrel smelled fresh cherry pie. Cherry pie is good. They saw the seed catalogs open on Duck's table. Come in, said Duck. You are right on time. I just finished my spring cleaning. But, Duck, I thought you were waiting for spring, said Rabbit. I was, said Duck. And I found spring yesterday, right beside my back fence. The 3 friends ran to the window. What do you think? He said, I found spring by my front fence. What do you think he found? Laura?
Flowers.
Laura thinks a flower.
Vegetables.
And vegetables. What do you think, Britt? Not sure. What do you think, Tyler? What do you think, Trevi? What do you think you found?
Snow.
Do you think you found snow? Let's see. A crocus, shouted Squirrel. A blue crocus in the snow. Why, said Rabbit, winter is not cold and long. It is already spring. Squirrel put her hot water bottle in the closet with her coat. Spring, she said. What a fine time for a party. So spring is on its way because the flower has bloomed up through the snow. Now, this is what, if you have time, as I was telling you all earlier in the show, the pictures that you made me on previous shows are all in my office, but they're like 3 years old. So if you get some time, you want to draw some pictures, feel free to draw as many as you can and bring them to me. And everybody, look into the camera and say thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us. See you next time.
See you next time.
Bye. Everybody wave. Bye.